It's your boy Deluded Gooner here, man. You know who I am. Arsenal PSG, what can I say? I know where to start. Arsenal must be comedy gold for opposition fans. We must actually be comedy gold. Throughout the whole week, we say we're ready for this test in Paris. We know what we need to do. All the boys are showing fight. Our manager's there saying our boys are mature. This, that, the other. They're putting pictures where they look real determined in training. And what happens within 42 minutes away from home? A goal. What happened there? The whole back four doesn't have a clue. Our midfielders didn't drop. It's a classic case of putting in a cross against Arsenal and scoring. Like, we all know we're weak from crosses, and that's what they did. That is the blueprint to Arsenal. Stay compact when you're out of position. Frustrate us by having men behind us. Put crosses in. Rough us up. This seems to be the blueprint from teams like Swansea to champions PSG, and now doing it. Like, it's just sickening, really. It makes me angry. First goal was poor. The whole backline don't know what they're doing there. Especially the midfield weren't dropping there. How can the midfield not drop within the 42nd second? It doesn't make sense. Like, Oxlade, what are you doing? You're ball watching. Oxlade ball watching doesn't allow Bellerin to shuffle across, which doesn't allow Mustafi to be in his right position. Anyone who's played even Sunday League, like myself, understands that. Like, football is not hard. It's just the quality is difference at the top level. That is all that's required. And again, we don't know how to hold a back line. Like, we don't know how to defend, but we especially don't know how to hold a back line, which makes me wonder what is Bold doing there. But anyways, back to the main point. First half, awful. We played like year sevens going to secondary school for the first time. From our keeper to our forward, we were nervous, second best at anything. The crowd got on top of our players. It was absolutely poor. Ospina's start was probably justified in hindsight, but if it was me, Cech would have played, purely because Cech, away from home in a hostile environment, is oozing confidence. He's going to display confidence, and he's going to pass confidence throughout the whole team. That would have allowed us to settle down. We didn't have that, so we were nervous. We couldn't play our football, despite the pitch being very massive and it being silly to try and play Wenger ball there anyways, which goes into us not knowing how to adapt. It would have allowed us to do that, but we didn't want to listen, and we wanted to do other stuff, and it's just ridiculous. Like, how can we be second best at everything? Players as skilled as Santi Cazorla losing the ball, poor first touches, failing to pass 5-yard passes. Some players have been hung out to dry here. I feel Coquelin was hung out to dry. I feel Coquelin given the circumstances, I feel Coquelin had a great game. He was just simply not the man for that game. We needed to win in the middle of the park. We knew he wasn't going to win out wide, but we needed to win the battle in the middle of the park. Xhaka and Santi should have been that. Xhaka should have started with Santi. Santi was poor, so he has to hold that. He has to hold that and own up to that. But Xhaka should have started. Coquelin is great off the ball. He's great with the tackles. His passing is basic. It's a bit better than people give him credit for, but it is basic. Xhaka is doing everything Coquelin does and helping us from out wide. We saw Santi isolated because of this. We saw Ozil having to come deep for it. We also saw our forward, Alexis Sanchez, having to come real deep because of that, which is why it shouldn't have happened. Our play in the final third was poor. At one point in the first half, everything seemed to have been going fine, but our passing in the final third wasn't on. Our usual suspects just didn't have their radar on. It was a funny game because if you actually think about it, Coquelin was our best attacker. Like, he had our best shots, in my opinion. He was our biggest threat at one point, which shows how poor we was. We were real lucky not to get beaten up in that game, because Cavani was a bottler. If that was any other forward, the Suarez's, the Kuns, etc., we would have been dead and we would have had a mountain to climb already in the group. But that's no different from being an Arsenal fan. It just wasn't happening. I thought we would have got slaughtered. We made it into halftime somehow. Wenger or whoever gave the talk at halftime has to take praise, because we came out firing. It's a shame we have to go 1-0 down and feel like there's no pressure on us before we have to play. We're still playing. Our team is still playing like a bunch of teenagers. It's a shame that has to happen before we start playing, because in the first half we did what we should have been doing in the first half. We was attacking them. We were doing what they did to us. We were on their first touch. We were countering them. We were on their first touch. We were roughing them up. We were being confident in our play. We were having shots. We were putting crosses into the box even more. Obviously, when Giroud came on, I don't know why we decided to stop crossing the ball, but it happened. But not to worry. And we were lucky to get away with a point there. We were lucky. On one hand, I'm happy that we're getting results when we're playing poorly, even back to last week against Southampton and even the Watford game. We wasn't even good. And even the Leicester game, we haven't been good all season, but we've been getting results. So on one hand, I'm happy about that, because we've always complained about our team being unable to get results like that. On the other hand, I'm not happy, because it looks like some players are not fit. Some players, to be expected to be fair, but our players don't look fit. Our players look like they've lost some of the hunger, and it looks like they've forgotten what it means. And this is why I don't think we're going to do anything this season, because it goes back to us not having the mental capacity to win. We have no situation management. We can't manage the situation. We are poor. We're poor at managing situations, as we've seen on numerous occasions. It's just disgraceful, really, that a team like Arsenal has become like this. It just doesn't make sense to me. In regards to the man of the match, I feel Ospina's man of the match thing and all this hysteria is overblown. For about 4 or 5 good saves, some of which were the result of self-inflicted errors, which is why he shouldn't have started. I feel the real man of the match is Mustafi. From the off, you could see Mustafi when the mistake was made by our back four. You could see him shouting at players, particularly Oxlade-Chamberlain, for not tracking back. You could see Mustafi putting in numerous crunching tackles. You could see him driving the ball out of defence, trying to give it to the attackers. You could see him egging people on further. You could even see him shouting at our strikers because our play wasn't good enough in the final third. All of that is the sort of stuff we needed. That's the character we need at this club. It's just a shame there's not enough players who display that. And on a final note, I hate to be the guy to say it, and to say it again in my second vid, but that was a game for Jack Wilshere, where we needed passion, fight, hunger, all of them things. Wilshere would have provided that. And Wilshere would have driven at this PSG team. Wilshere would have ran in behind, which we was not doing. Wilshere would have found these passes. Imagine if we started Xhaka and Wilshere together. Do you know what that would have done? Or even Xhaka and Santi or El Nene, or somehow put Wilshere in there. Like, either way, Coquelin shouldn't have started, but he done well. But yeah, that is why Wilshere is needed. And on a final note, that red card for Giroud was very, very silly. That whole game, again, I'm very on the case about this. Refs are, again, starting to make matches all about themselves and want to be the centre of attention. Red card for what? What happened? The only one that should have been sent off, really, in my opinion, is Marquinhos. It doesn't even look like Verratti did anything. It doesn't make sense. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Hopefully we can get our campaign, we can start our campaign properly in our next fixture. Hopefully we win on the weekend. But as it is, it's just a lot of hope and should and could and stuff with Arsenal. But yeah, it's a day in the life of an Arsenal fan. We wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you for listening, man. You know what to do. Comment, subscribe. I'm out.